Hi guys, welcome to Fun Learning. And in this video, we are going to learn about the axillary artery. With no more delay, let's get started. So before going to the topic, today's topic, that is axillary artery, you should remember this mnemonic, namely sabur. Okay, well, I know actually the spelling of sabur is this one, but here you should remember as S-A-B-U-R. Okay, wow. So if we take upper limb, there are 5 main blood vessels. Okay, wow. Namely subclavian artery. S stands for subclavian artery. A stands for axillary artery. Okay. B stands for brachial artery. U stands for ulnar artery, and R stands for radial artery. Okay, wow. This subclavian artery will continue as a axillary artery, and this axillary artery will continue as a brachial artery, and this brachial artery will bifurcate into radial artery and ulnar artery. Now let us study about the beginning and the termination of axillary artery with the help of the notes. Okay, well, so first when you are going to study about the beginning of the axillary artery, you should know about 2 keywords. Okay, you should remember these 2 keywords. That is enough to write the beginning of the axillary artery. So first is first rib, and second word should be subclavian artery. I already mentioned with the help of the mnemonic. So first rib, all the rib that is present in your body has 2 borders, outer border and inner border. At the outer border of the first rib, subclavian artery will continue as an axillary artery. And termination, same, you should know about 2 keywords. So one is teres major muscle, and another keyword should be the brachial artery. Okay, wow. So at the lower border of the teres major muscle, the axillary artery will continue as a brachial artery. Now let us study about the course of the axillary artery in detail. I hope you can see the diagram. So there are 3 lines. So one is pink in color, that is brachial plexus, Okay, wow. So one is green in color, that is axillary artery, and one is blue in color, that is axillary vein. So this axillary artery, that is this green in color, it enters the axilla via the apex. This is the apex of axilla, this is the base of the axilla. Okay, well, this axillary artery will enter the axilla via its apex. Okay, well, as it runs down in the axilla, you can see here, there is a radial convexity. So radial, this axillary artery is convex. As it runs down in the axilla, there is a radial convexity, and throughout its course, this axillary artery is accompanied by the brachial plexus as well as the axillary vein. Again, I am collecting. So this axillary artery will enter the axilla via its apex. As it runs down in the axilla, it makes a radial convexity. Throughout its course, this axillary artery is accompanied by the brachial plexus as well as the axillary vein. As it runs down in the axilla, there is a muscle called pectoris minor muscle, and this is pectoris minor muscle. This divides the axillary artery into 3 parts. First part will be the part that is present above the pectoris minor muscle. Second part, the part that is present behind the pectoris minor muscle, and third part is a part that is present below the pectoris minor muscle. So first part, second part, and the third part. I already said course of axillary artery, it enters the axilla to its apex. As it runs down in the axilla, it makes a radial convexity. When it runs through the region of axilla, underneath the pectoris minor muscle, this axillary artery is divided into 3 parts. Throughout its course, it is accompanied by the axillary vein and is also related to the brachial plexus of nerves. So parts, I already mentioned, first part, second part, and third part. So first part extends from the outer border of the first rib to the upper margin of the pectoris minor muscle. So second part behind the pectoris minor muscle. So third part nothing but extend from the lower margin of the pectoris minor muscle to the lower margin of the teres major muscle. Okay, now let us study about the relations of axillary artery in detail. Now let us study about the relations of the axillary artery in detail. Previously I have mentioned this axillary artery has 3 parts, namely first part, second part, and third part. And each part has specifically 4 relations, namely anterior relation, posterior relation, medial relation, and the lateral relation. Now let us discuss about this relation in detail. Consider this as a chota human being. Okay, now focus at the chest part. That is this part. When we the anterior most part of the human being, that is will be skin. Right? So when we cut open the skin at the chest part, we have what fascia? Superficial fascia. Right? So when we take this out, we have deep fascia. When I take this deep fascia also at the chest part, we have a very important muscle called pectoris major muscle. This is a large fan-shaped muscle. This even covers the pectoris minor muscle. So pectoris major muscle at upper part, below the pectoris major muscle only pectoris minor muscle will be present. So what are the relations I have said? Skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia, and the pectoris major muscle. Okay, then this pectoris major muscle is supplied by the medial pectoral nerve and the lateral pectoral nerve. So the communication between the medial pectoral nerve and the lateral pectoral nerve is also present. Okay, next there are two veins, namely just remember TC. Okay, T stands for thoracoacromial vein, whereas C stands for cephalic vein. I hope there is no doubt in the anterior relations of the first part of the axillary artery. This anterior relation, that is skin, superficial fascia, deep fascia, pectoris major muscle, almost remain same for the all the remaining two part of the axillary artery. Okay, for the remaining relations of the first part of the axillary artery, just remember that my personal secretary, PS stands for personal secretary, is in the maul. Okay, this personal secretary, P stands for posterior relation, S stands for serratus anterior muscle. Okay, and this maul, so isn't for smallly, maul is in a sense M medial relation, A axillary vein. Okay, so L lateral relation, and another L stands for lateral cord of brachial plexus. Okay, so anterior relation of first part of axillary artery I already mentioned. Posterior relation, so I already said serratus anterior muscle. So medial relation, maul. So medially we have axillary vein, laterally we have lateral cord of brachial plexus. Now let us study about the relations of the second part of the axillary artery in detail. I already said anteriorly we have skin, both superficial fascia and the deep fascia, and also we have pectoris major muscle as well as pectoris minor muscle. Okay, posteriorly there will be the posterior cord of brachial plexus. Medially we have medial cord of brachial plexus. Laterally we have lateral cord of brachial plexus. I hope there is no confusion in that. Posteriorly we have posterior cord, medially we have medial cord, laterally we have lateral cord. Okay, and also you should remember axillary vein. This is almost common in all the three part of the medial relation. This axillary vein is almost common. Okay, so next, the third part of the axillary artery, here anteriorly same, skin, pectoris major muscle. Posteriorly, we have posterior axillary wall muscles, namely subscapularis, teres major, all those muscles. Okay, so medially, see, I have written all the relations. There is no, there's no need of writing all this thing. If you remember, you can write. But if you not remember, just at least remember at least one relations. Okay, posteriorly we have posterior cord, medially we have medial cord, laterally if you remember that you can write. There is no problem in that. Okay, so medially I already said we have axillary vein, and one more thing, you have ulnar nerve. So medially you have ulnar nerve. You can also remember as UMA. U stands for ulnar nerve, M medial cutaneous nerve of forearm, A stands for axillary vein. So laterally, I already said, laterally we have coracoid process that is present in the scapula. Okay, in that coracoid process, there is two muscles that getting originated. One will be the coracobrachialis and another will be the short head of the biceps brachii muscle. And this both the muscles are supplied by the musculocutaneous nerve. So laterally we have coracoid process. From that coracoid process, two muscles is getting originated. One is coracobrachialis, second is short head of biceps brachii. These two muscles are supplied by the musculocutaneous nerve. Now let us study about the branches of the axillary artery in detail. Previously, I have mentioned that axillary artery has three parts: first part, second part, and third part. From each part, there will be some branches coming out from each part of the axillary artery. From the first part, there will be one branches. From the second part, there will be two branches. Whereas from the third part of the axillary artery, there will be three branches. Okay, va? So from the first part of the axillary artery, there is only one branch. I already mentioned that branch will be superior thoracic artery. Okay, va? This superior thoracic artery runs along pectoris minor muscle and the pectoris major muscle. And this superior thoracic artery arises near the subclavius muscle. It supplies the medial wall of the axilla. Just you should remember three parts. It arising near the subclavius muscle. After arising, it runs between the pectoris major muscle and the pectoris minor muscle, and it supplies the medial wall of the axilla. Whereas from the second part of the axillary artery, there will be two arteries coming out from that second part. One artery named will be thoracoacromial artery. The second artery namely lateral thoracic artery. Okay, va? So when we want to discuss about this thoracoacromial artery, you can see it emerges at the upper border of the pectoris minor muscle. So this is pectoris minor muscle. This thoracoacromial artery emerges from the upper border of the pectoris minor muscle. And this artery pierces the cavipectoral fascia, which is nothing but a fascia that fills the gap between the clavicle and the pectoris minor muscle. And this thoracoacromial artery divided into four branches. After piercing the cavipectoral fascia, this artery divided into four branches. In that, four branches are C-pad, clavicular branch, P for pectoral branch, A for acromial branch, whereas D for deltoid branch. Okay, va? This lateral thoracic artery. So this lateral thoracic artery runs along the inferior border of the pectoris minor muscle. Okay, va? And it supplies the pectoris major muscle, pectoris minor muscle, and the sertus anterior muscle. It runs along the inferior border and supplies three muscles: pectoris major, minor, and the sertus anterior muscle. So these are the points that I have already discussed about, namely thoracoacromial artery and the lateral thoracic artery. Now let us go with the subscapular artery. This subscapular artery, anterior circumflex femoral artery, and the posterior circumflex femoral artery. These three arteries are the branches from the third part of the axillary artery. Okay, well, previously we have discussed two arteries, namely thoracoacromial artery and the lateral thoracic artery are the branches from the second part of the axillary artery. So yeah, so this subscapular artery runs along the lower border of subscapularis muscle. So this subscapularis muscle is getting originated from the subscapular fossa, which is a fossa that is present on the ventral aspect of the scapula. Okay, well, this subscapular artery ends at the inferior angle of scapula. Scapula has three angles: superior angle, lateral angle at the inferior angle, and the inferior angle. At the inferior angle, this subscapular artery is terminated. Okay, well, via its course, it gives a branch called circumflex scapular artery. This circumflex scapular artery passes through the upper triangular space. So we have quadrangular space, upper triangular space, and lower triangular space, tree space. In that, this circumflex scapular artery runs through the upper triangular space and enters the infraspinous fossa. This is a fossa that is present on the dorsal aspect of the scapula. So subscapular artery runs along the lower border of the subscapularis muscle, first part. This ends at the inferior angle of the scapula, second part. This gives a branch called circumflex scapular artery, and that branch passes through the upper triangular space to enter the infraspinous fossa. Now let us discuss about the anterior circumflex humeral artery in detail. Anterior circumflex humeral artery. This artery runs on the anterior aspect of the surgical neck of the humerus. This artery anastomoses with the posterior circumflex humeral artery, and it also gives ascending branch that supplies the head of the humerus and the shoulder joint. posterior circumflex femoral artery. This artery passes backward along with the axillary nerve by passing via the quadrangular space. Okay, this quadrangular space has the following content, namely cap. Okay, C for capsule of shoulder joint, A for axillary nerve, and P for posterior circumflex femoral artery. Passes backward along with the axillary nerve through the quadrangular space. So this artery crosses the posterior aspect of the surgical neck of the humerus. Very easy. Anterior passes in front of surgical neck, whereas posterior crosses the posterior aspect of the surgical neck of the humerus. And this anastomosis with the anterior circumflex femoral artery. Okay, but in order to remember the branches of the axillary artery, you can remember the mnemonic SAL, SAP. Okay, S stands for superior thoracic artery, A for acromiothoracic artery, R thoracoacromial artery, L for lateral thoracic artery, S for subscapular artery, A for anterior circumflex femoral artery, P for posterior circumflex femoral artery. With this, I am completing the this video, that is axillary artery. And if you like this video, please subscribe to my channel. And if you want any other video, comment me in the comment box. So stay home and stay safe. Thank you for watching.